Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Hope you're doing well today. I'm here with my mate John from Lords Brewing Co. I'm sure you're all familiar with John. If you're not, John owns a brewery up in Huddersfield, up in the northwest of England, and they brew some really good beers. And we've got a bit of a lager off today, competing with one another.
Technically, it's a kind of a little bit naughty.
It is naughty
because I'm reviewing my beer against another brewery's beer, which I wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're doing it for views.
I thought it was... I thought this would be an interesting video. Rather than just reviewing a beer, I thought I'd put it up against another new lager, just to see if it is any good or not. So what we're going to be doing, John and Lords Brewing Company, that he runs, have just released their new lager. We've already pulled a pint of it. Head's gone down a little bit on this one. But this is their new sleeper lager. And this is coming in at 4% ABV. What we're going to be putting it up against, we're going to be putting it up against Jeremy Clarkson and what's the name of the brewery? Cotswold Lager, is it?
I thought it was Hawkstone or something.
Yeah, Hawkstone.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the brewery?
Hawkstone Lager.
Hawkstone Lager. So we're going to be putting up against Jeremy Clarkson's lager, the Hawkstone Lager. Now this one, admittedly, is coming in at 4.7, I believe. 4.8. There's a 4.8% ABV lager. This has been brewed using grain from the Diddley Squat farm. If you watched the Amazon documentary of Jeremy Clarkson and his farm,
I loved that.
It was a great show.
It was one of the
great
best things I've seen in a long time.
Great show. And I must say, before we get into this, I'm a massive fan of Jeremy Clarkson. Love everything he's done. I like the fact he twatted Piers Morgan. That's hilarious. That's funny to me. That amuses me. So yeah, we're gonna put your new sleeper lager
against his,
up against Jeremy Clarkson's Hawkstone one, and see which we think is better.
Now, I will say, I'd just like to throw this in there. I've also read Jeremy Clarkson's about 4 or 5 of his books as well, from the early days all the way through to the last ones that he's done. I'm a big fan of Jeremy Clarkson as well.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to trying this beer, and my beer is very different in the sense of what we're trying to do with ours is peel people away from Carling. Look at the clarity of that.
Wow.
That's excellent.
So that is crystal clear, golden colour. It's holding a half a finger, pretty fluffy but pure white looking head on it. Gentle carbonation. Let me get this out, and then you can crack into your Hawkstone.
Nice.
So the sleeper, I think, is a little bit colder. That had a wobble. This is kegged, obviously. So there's a little bit difference. It might not be the fairest comparison in the world, but we're going for it anyway. So
this has come from the beer monster.
This has come from the beer monster machine
in a mini keg, yeah.
From a mini keg, so different format. But I'm going to have a swig on the sleeper first.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to get my nose in, see what the aromas are. So this is the sleeper. And it smells really good.
It's very light.
There's a touch of sort of a honeyed citrus aroma to it. There's a touch of a bready malt. It's reminiscent of a good German Helles.
I might just have some.
Off the bat. Calm yourself. He's getting nervous, you see. He's having a swig.
I'm nervous.
Right, it's got a really nice aroma. It's really malty. It's got a lovely bit of citrus sweetness to it. It looks the part. I'm going to get stuck in. Cheers. The conditioning, lacing on the glass. God, that's really good. Well, you're not allowed to talk now. That's really good. Okay. It's got a bit of body to it. This is only a 4%, so it's a session, lager essentially. It's got a bit of body. There really is genuinely a touch of that bready malt character to it. It's like a subtle sort of butter on bread flavour that you get with a good sort of German Helles. Excuse me. Yeah, it's really malty. There's the finish, just coming in now. Subtle touch of again, it's bready. That bready element continues all the way through. Not bitter, but it almost goes from like a white bread into a brown bread as it finishes, if that makes any sense. It's a malty lager. It's malty, it's refreshing, it's smashable. For a 4%, that's very, 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 very good. I really like that. I really like that. Wow, I mean, it's kegged as well, so it's kind of extra good, right? Extra good. I find kegged lagers always just give you something extra.
It's a nice format, and you get to pour it.
Yeah, you get to pour it. You get to add how much CO2 you want into it, the temperature.
Lacing.
Yeah, lacing on the glass. That's a really good lager. Off the bat, I would give that a solid 8 out of 10. I think that's a really, really good lager. And it's the sort of thing, especially if you can get it on keg, if you've got the beer monster, which is sitting there behind us humming away, it's the perfect lager for a perfect summer's day. It really, really is. The conditioning on it is wonderful. I mean, that is partly down to me, but yeah, wonderful. Right. Hawkstone.
I don't mind you said that. I've got it in a Hofmeister glass, so very different glasses as well.
Very different glass. So I've gone for a similar glass. So here's the Hawkstone Lager, the Jeremy Clarkson one. Again, a lot more clarity. This one, even though there's condensation on the glass, there's a haze to this one. There's a slight haze to this lager.
Admittedly, that's 2 degrees though.
Yeah.
And this is warmer,
This
so
is probably a bit
you
warmer.
might get, because our lager's unfiltered,
Yeah.
you might sometimes when it's really cold get a little tiny bit of hop haze. And
There you
also
go.
there's no finings in it, so it's suitable for vegans.
So this is certainly filtered within an inch of its life. I mean, you can see me through that.
Oh, I don't know. They might have just really done well with the process. They might have let it mature properly, and you'll get that clarity.
I hope so. I
Yeah,
hope
it
so.
looks banging.
It looks clean as a whistle, doesn't it? Looks really good. Let's get me snouting. Whoa, okay.
Ooh, that's different to that.
Yeah. Okay. There is a touch of citrus. Ooh. A touch of sweetness. There's a touch of sort of buried fruit in there as well.
That's what I can get. There's like a sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's
Like
almost
a sweet berry. It's got a bit.
yeah.
It's
it's
got that bit
different.
of that bready character, but there's like a sweet smell.
It's more of a brown bread, almost
Mm.
like a wholemeal bread. Touch of sweet berry to it, but you're getting that general sort of touch of sort of honeyed lemon, citrus freshness that you would get from a lager. It's got an inviting aroma. I was going to say when I first put it to my nose, it was reminiscent of a non-alcoholic lager, as in there was almost a kind of a savoury note to it.
Yeah.
But the more it opens up now, that's fading, and that's turning into like a darker berry.
It smells good.
It does actually smell quite nice. It's got a complex aroma for a lager. I'll say that off the bat.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it smells like it has more depth.
There's
than that.
more going on with this, but this is 4.8, whereas the sleeper was 4%. There's more going on with the aroma on this one. Should we get stuck in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers to Jeremy
Cheers.
Clarkson.
Cheers, Jezza. Ooh.
Oh, that's good as well.
Wow. I really like that.
It's got more of a finish.
Softer.
Yeah.
I would say,
Carbonation is slightly up
yeah.
on this one. There's definitely a berry thing going on. There's definitely a slightly darker fruit. It's not just your citrus floral thing. There's a darker fruit element to this.
I love the astringency on this one. It's got a nice, it's very well rounded. It's soft, and then right at the end, it's got that note. I love that dry
It
finish.
is quite dry, isn't it?
Yeah, like-
it's like a pilsner.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's closer to a pilsner than just a lager.
Yeah,
It's very good.
that's pilsner-esque. I've nearly destroyed that. We're kind of spoilt for choice. I wasn't expecting that. Pardon me.
Now,
Gassy as hell.
my lager, first time out, first ever brew. It takes 9 weeks to make it, and it got a silver Seba
Oh God, yes.
award.
They should be mentioned.
Yeah, regional
Sleeper from Lords, their new lager. This got a silver in the regional awards at Seba just a couple of weeks ago. So well done, mate. That's a good one,
cheers.
mate. That's good.
So it's a good lager. We know it's a well put together lager.
Yep.
This is it's very good.
It's depth to this.
It's much deeper.
Yeah.
If I feel like this is a more.
You can tell that has got more in the way of alcohol in it.
Yes.
Certainly. There's sweeter in the flavour.
Definitely.
Straight away, there's a sweetness to it. There's a dark berry sweetness to it, which it reminds me of a little bit like you're drinking a strong lager. Although it's not all that strong, that sweetness that is in this that isn't in the sleeper kind of reminds you of like that special brew thing where you can tell there's more alcohol in it. There's a sweetness to this one. There's a touch more sweetness to it. It's got more of a finish. There's more of a bitterness on the finish to this one. You can tell that this is 4.8 and that this is just a 4%.
If you swap back, I just tried that. I think ours
swap
is
back to the
a
sleeper.
tad more bitter, but ours drops off its dry finishing. I think it's almost the opposite way around.
This is so bready. This is such this is a German Helles for me. That is a German Helles lager. This is a strong British lager. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't have the. I say it's more like a Pilsner, but it's not. It doesn't have that biscuit kind of flavour that you get from a Pilsner, and it doesn't have the spice.
No.
But it's a really, really well put. So, just so people know, lagers, the actual making of the lager in the brewing process isn't that difficult. The hard bit is how you store it and what you do with it after that in your tank. So the longer it has in the tank, and there's going to be brewers all over moaning at me and saying, you don't need, there's no chemical change. But in our experience, the longer you leave it, the better it is.
Yeah.
That is a very well stored lager. And the problem is with a lager is the taste profile is so small.
Yeah.
So if you make a mistake, something like diacetyl, which will give you butterscotch,
Yeah.
you'll spot it straight
You
away.
spot it a mile off, yeah.
If it gets skunked, you're going to spot it a mile away. If you've got the wrong hops and you've got like that onion flavour or garlic, you're going to spot it straight away.
Yeah.
Same with the yeast. If you get it wrong with the yeast, you can spot it straight away. That, I will say, Hawkstone, you've nailed it.
I think that's a really good
I actually don't. I don't have a favourite.
I'd be interested to know how long they lagered it for.
It's beautiful.
If you're not familiar with the term lagered, obviously the name of the beer, lager, comes from, that's the aging process basically, or the brewing process. So the longer it's been lagered, like I say, if you go to breweries like Budvar, for example, they brew Budvar for 3 months. It's aged for 3 months until it's ready to put out there. The Lords did something very similar with their Pilsner. And you say Sleeper was lagered for how long?
So that is, it's 8 to 9 weeks.
Yeah, so that's pretty good going.
So,
That's pretty good going.
And that's the shortest we can get it. But you get a bit of variation because you're dealing with a natural product. It can change. Also, temperature. So the word lager means to store.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's banging. I don't know if it's a fair comparison.
I really enjoyed Sleeper, and I've got more of it to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed the Hawkstone Lager.
I'd buy that.
I'd buy that. I mean, luckily I have bought it. I've got more. So
Yes.
I've got more. So we're good.
Really.
I scored Sleeper an 8 out of 10. And do you know what? I would score this an 8 out of 10 for very different reasons. Because there's a lot more complexity to it. For me, it's got a slightly drier, more bitter finish. But then I think this one is more smashable. But then that's obvious because it's a lower ABV. It's slightly colder right now than the Hawkstone is.
I'd love to put my Pilsner against that.
Oh, now we'd be talking.
That would be...
Because that was 4.8, wasn't it?
4.9.
4.9, so it was very close. But Hawkstone Lager,
Very good.
I think that's really, really good. I genuinely think that's a really good lager.
On lagers, I might give it a 9 out of 10 and mine an 8 out of 10. I actually have I prefer it because it's got that bit more bite.
Bit more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, but I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 for very different reasons for which I've given Sleeper an 8 out of 10. And that's the beauty of beer. I've got 2 lagers in front of me, but they're totally different. So there you go. Yeah, so Sleeper by Lords, 8 out of 10. Hawkstone Lager with Jeremy Clarkson and the brewery that brewed it, 8 out of 10 again. Bit different. John, thank you for joining me for this one.
No worries, man.
Bit different, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Do appreciate it. And until my next one, you take care.
There's one last little thing I need to add that I've just completely ruined your outro.
Go on then.
We're doing the gin with James May on my channel.
We've got that coming up. We're doing the gin. Who we got? Is it Ryan Reynolds?
Brian, as James called him, Brian
Reynolds. Yeah.
We've got Ryan Reynolds Aviation Gin versus James May's Asian parsnip gin, which
gin.
I bought a little while ago.
Yeah.
And me, Paul, we're waiting for Abby to get back from work so we can try it. It's going to be over on the Lords Brewing Co channel.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We're doing a gin off.
Yeah, we're doing a gin
off. Yeah.
And I've had the pleasure of dealing with James May in the past and Food Tribe,
yeah.
And he's tried our beers when it was James May's Mail time. What a lovely guy.
Yeah.
I've got all the time in the world for James May.
There you go. So you've got that coming up on Lords Brewing Company. So subscribe to Lords Brewing Company if you haven't already. I will put a link to the channel in the description box below. Thank you for watching this one. We've waffled, but it's been fun. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Till my next one, you take care.